they don't want to do what the government is telling them to do because they think the government is overreaching, and they're like, they don't like the government saying either you get this chemical injection or we're going to make sure you get fired from your job, even if your job doesn't want to fire you.
So I gotta say, Cam Higby, you should work in a scrapyard because you're great at salvaging. Okay. Also,
no, I mean, I think I don't. He brought a good point forward, and
Okay.
to be truthful, well, I'm going to dovetail on it. Okay.
Okay.
To be truthful, that is exactly what the problem is. We live in a federal republic, and it is not within the purview of the federal government to mandate that. You talk about vaccines for, like when you go to school and stuff like that. Those are all state-driven initiatives. Okay, they're not done at the federal level.
Okay.
When you talk about military people that go overseas, they have to take certain vaccinations, stuff like that. Those are federal employees. The federal government can control the federal employees. The state, the federal government has very little constitutional authority.
I want to make an effort to get into the sphere of debating. Any advice, Stardust? Start practicing with nobodies on the internet, to be honest with you. Join different Discord voice chats. Start arguing with people. Work your way up. You're going to just suck for a while, honestly. And even when you think you're good, you're going to still have days where you suck, where you get like absolutely fucking wrecked, So that's all I can say. I still get wrecked occasionally. So
It's not.
You said if a state wanted you said if a state wanted to do it, that it's within the state's power to do it. It would be up to the people of that state to push back and elect new officials or whatever. But it's not a federal in power.
Okay, I've gotten your point clearly. Okay, so we have Redneck, we have Cam, and then we have More Perfect Union. So Redneck, the reason why we didn't use your definition of racism, and I guess we're using mine, is because when I tried to clarify your position on racism, I tried to find out what is the base level of what you find racist, and I put forward.
I think one big thing that people don't think about when they're debating or when they're trying to get into debate is that you are going to get humiliated so many times in a very public manner. So you have to be okay with getting fucking creamed. You have to be okay with getting wrecked. And even when you think that you're doing good, people are going to think that you got wrecked for no reason. So you have to be very you have to be okay with that public humiliation, basically. You have to be able to get back up pretty quickly and not, just brush it off. So, yeah, it's just what is going to happen until you get good. So, true, I got wrecked by Rob Noor once. Well, Rob Noor is an excellent debater. I don't think most people can go up against him. So.
Black people because they're black. You need to do that.
You have to have an action. It can't just be something said.
Yes,
Dylan,
I believe
fair.
I believe there. No, I am being fair. I literally just described what you just said. I said you have to go do an action. I just said literally your position. Okay, so you don't need to interrupt and say the exact same thing I just said. I believe that's a narrow definition.
I also elaborated that if you create a policy that creates an effect as well, if it physically or mentally, I'm having an honest counter. You can't.
Shut up! It's my turn to talk.
Okay,
Redneck. It's literally his turn to talk, man. All right, and he's been
Yes, sir.
one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right. I'm wrong. I am wrong. I apologize. I stand corrected.
Fucking hell, because there's three of you, right? It's I gotta respond to three separate people in a row. So if I just
since I fucked up,
Okay. So, because I believe that definition of racism is narrow, and I believe you can say racist statements that make you racist. I believe if somebody goes on a stage and says, I hate black people, they're racist. I believe that's how most people would say is actually a very basic definition level of racism. Something that you don't even see most people actually go out and say if they're racist, because not a lot of people are that honest with their racism. They're going to come out literally say, oh, I just hate black people, right? And so because we had a disagreement about that, you wanted to use my definition. And the reason that you believe that my thing is racist is because there are less black people vaccinated than white people, and therefore a vaccine mandate, right, would be disproportionately affecting black people. and therefore it's racist under the definition of it's disproportionately affecting black people. My response to that would be, yes, it is, and that's a good thing, because I believe that rich white the elites, quote unquote, if we want to use that type of language, they were the first people in line to get vaccinated. If you look, for example, in my state, Maryland, Prince George's County was always in the back of the line when it came to getting vaccinated and vaccination rates. And it just so happens to be the majority black county in the state of Maryland. And this seems to be true across most states, that the counties that are majority black seem to have lower vaccination rates than the rest of the state and the rest of the country. And black people are vaccinated at lower rates
Hi, Hoodie
than white
Monster.
people. And I would say that isn't because like of some grand racist plot or anything like that. I think it has to do with a few factors. One could be governmental distrust, and I agree with you there that could be part of the factors. But other factors that I bring up regularly is lack of access and lack of time. For example, when I worked a vaccine pop-up in Prince George's County, one thing that I saw consistently from the people I talked to is, oh, I just didn't know where to get vaccinated. They just don't know where to get vaccinated. A lot of people don't know exactly where you're supposed to go. And when you talk about the people who
How did those white people find?
How did the white people find out? Well, maybe there was more materials in their community advertising where they could get vaccinated.
Well, they had access to laptops and computers.
you
Ask Joe
believe
Biden.
They do have higher rates of access to internet broadband. That is true. Yes.
I
That is
actually,
true. And people tried to.
Well, he said they didn't know how to use them.
if you have less
get
access
the
to
exact quote,
technology, you're going to have less ability to use it. I had a boyfriend who didn't grow up with all that technology, barely could use a computer. He barely could use a typical electronics. We would spend most winters he didn't have working heat. It was just that was just the way it was.
Okay, let me read the exact thing.
The conversation.
No. We're talking about the quote. I'm going to read the quote. The other part is, the portion is, a lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distinct and or inner city districts, know how to get online to determine how to get in line for COVID vaccination at Walgreens or the particular store. So I've committed to spend $1 billion in public education to help people figure out where they can get it, right? That isn't saying black people are too stupid. That's not what he's saying. He's saying that particularly in the black and Hispanic communities, there are lower rates of, for example, internet broadband or access to internet resources that would allow them to get to know where to go for a vaccination site. And the statistics seem to show that out to be true.
Dylan, do you not see how? If you go back and listen to yourself say what you've said, it is literally racist as fuck.
See, there it
because
is.
because on one hand,
racism.
I'm gonna go. Let me keep going. I will define to you why I say that. You have no problem with saying that you're going to force them to get a vaccination and present a vaccine card, but you damn sure don't want to have a fucking voter right ID card for them to be able to guarantee their vote matters, because God forbid, once they learn how to vote, they'll be able to prove that they can vote, right? Get the fuck out of here with your
isn't this interesting? So you don't think that saying I hate black people is racist, but me saying what I just said is racist.
Dylan,
Cam, let me ask you a question,
Dylan
Cam.
racist many times.
Dylan,
if I came in here and I said, look,
Dylan is a racist.
yeah, exactly.
You know how many times he said he hates black people on stream?
We
You
say
remember how many times he said he hates black people?
Wait, when did he say he hates black people? Whoa, what happened?
Whoa.
You fell for the detector.
Whoa.
Dylan.
Look, everybody listen. I want you to listen real careful, like. This is the sound of the night. Remember, wolves, if you make too much fucking noise, you'll start attracting, some unwanted attention, right? If we don't want to have an argument, figure out something else to talk about, right?
There you go.
We definitely don't want to have arguments, right? Debates are fine. Debates are funny as fuck. But we don't want to have arguments.
No.
Okay,
So-
I want to say something else because
Hold on. No, I know you want to. But we're holding fast right here for a minute, right?
I'm bad.
Now we've got the room. So I want to say hi to Stardust. Stardust, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. I love
I can't
this
believe
fucking guy.
Dylan
Look at this
hates
guy.
black people. I just can't believe it. Dylan, how could you?
I
Wow.
don't know. It's just
That's
guess
what I
it's part
said.
of my nature. It's crazy.
Do you hate brown
That's
people
not metal
too?
detector.
Do you hate
And-
brown
and Joe-
people too, Dylan?
Yeah, why not?
Wow, what the
Ship
fuck?
it and ship it. I know. This whole time, I thought you were on our side, Dylan.
That's why he pays Geek and not me.
I am curious though, even though I've obviously. Redneck. I am curious though. Could you back up why I hate black people?
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you? Wait.
Didn't you
Why-
say it
even
earlier?
Okay, I
Raven
can't
was
like
like
it.
that.
Back this up for a second. Why? Come on. If I said this about anybody else in this room, I would hear gasps like, "You hate black people," You'd be like, "Ah!" And you would all be like, "How dare you say that against my fellow conservative just because he's a conservative?" But I'm here, racist, fucking got a AIDS lover.
Dylan,
fucking all
Dylan,
shit
this
that
whole
fucking-
this whole troll, this whole hang on, guys, hang on. This whole troll now that's been lasting for fucking months, even while I was offline and came back, has been in your fucking head and the community's head for so long that I've had you saying you hate black people so many fucking times, using me because I am the infinite racist, bigoted transphobe on the internet, and I have literally flipped
words,
it
not
backwards
mine.
to show you. Hey, bro, it's your community that you pushed the agenda onto me with. So
What?
guess what? You're the one that brought that question up, and it was never an issue for me before that, and you made it an issue. You said the analogy was if you just walked up on the stage and says I hate black people. I just said it again, right? I hate black people. Is that racist? No, it's not fucking racist. It might be cringe. It might be a fucking idiot,
It's not
but it
racist,
doesn't make them a
totally
fucking.
cringe.
I hate white fucking progressives. And I asked you, does that make me racist? And you said, well, it can. How the fuck am I supposed to be a racist against my own race? I'm not Uncle
Yes,
fucking
you
Ruckus.
can.
Get
Wait.
the fuck out of here.
The problem is here that what I'm saying is I gave you a scenario and you gave a crazy answer, Redneck. You gave a wild answer. And so I do bring it up because I don't necessarily think you're a racist. I have no clue if I can determine if somebody's a racist. I can't look into their soul, right? Who knows, right? Maybe you are, maybe you're not, right? But what I can say is I think your definition of racism is completely out of whack. I think it's such a narrow definition of racism. It makes it so I literally could almost call no one a racist unless they're literally like lynching black people, right?
You don't think I'm inherently racist. You don't know what's in my soul. And that's the fucking point I'm making with you. And you can't get it through your fucking head. You don't know what I am because I say something. You can only assume. And that's the fucking problem with you guys. Y'all don't comprehend past your smooth brain take. This is a five level, whatever y'all want to fucking call it. I'm old enough to know what true racism is. I'm old enough to see people fucking attack other people and actually have actions. I've seen people call somebody a fucking word that you would say is ultimately cringe and nothing happened. Is that racism? To me, sure, you can say that they're fucking being bigoted or they're being an asshole. You're going to have fucking assholes. The moment they make a policy that affects or harms another person of color because they believe their color makes them better, I don't give a fuck what that color is, then that's racism. Period. People have freedom of speech in America. And I've tried to explain this to y'all. Hate speech there's no such thing. It's just speech that you fucking hate. And once you understand that actions matter louder than words, and the old adage, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words shall never hurt me, is the adage we live by. At least the people like me. Because guess what? You can bump your fucking gums. You called me a fucking traitor, which to me is way worse than a fucking racist, because a traitor is going against my fucking core. A racist, hell, my name calls me a racist. Like, I've been called a racist my whole life. That's what I'm trying to fucking fight is racism. I don't believe somebody's skin color makes them different. I don't. It's an attribute. Just like I'm fucking bald and you have hair. But y'all can't get there. You guys divide everything by color. So of course I'm gonna play this game back at you.
Can I jump in real quick?
Oh,
Can I
one,
jump
I
in
just
real
wanna say
quick?
one,
Yeah,
very-
real quick. Hold on. Dylan, keep it to 30 seconds, and then I want to kick it over to
Okay.
Stardust,
So-
and then we'll see where it goes from there.
if it's really just words, then let's say you're in like an Austrian bar. It's like, I don't know, maybe 1922, 23. And there's this man with a little funny mustache. He walks up there and he says a lot of things about the Jews. And you want to know what? I think those things about the Jews were not very nice. He hasn't done anything. He hasn't, done any action, right? But I'd still be able to point at the words he just said and say that man is an anti-Semite because he said the Jews are disgusting. They're subhuman. they need to be taken care of, like all this different shit. And that makes him an anti-Semite because he's showing himself to be one, even if he hasn't done any action. The same would be true of somebody who goes on a stage and says, I hate black people. His words are clearly showing that they are a racist. If anything, that should be a red flag to make sure we don't let him act upon those words one day and take that racism in his soul and enact it upon the world. I think your definition of racism is extremely narrow.
Was
Stardust.
LBJ racist?
Oh, Stardust.
Yes,
Okay, so
massively.
first thing that I would say is that just because I'm not even going to comment on the hate speech thing. I think that people should be allowed to say what they want. I believe in freedom of speech, but I do think that things said can be racist. It doesn't mean that I think that people should be arrested for saying those things. It just means that those are racist things, and whatever social fallout you get from those, that is the social fallout that you get. Secondly, just because racism can be something less severe than somebody getting beaten within an inch of their life doesn't mean that it doesn't make it less, right? There are words that have levels, right? So like, for example, if there's an injury can be a cut, right? Or an injury can be somebody's leg is broken, or an injury can be somebody's leg needs to be reattached, right? So I think that what we're missing here is like there are levels of the severity of how bad racism is, but speech can, yes, it can be racist if it's communicating racist ideas. Do I think it should be should it be illegal? No, but if a private business wants to not have that in their private business, it's up to them. I don't see what's wrong with that.
First of all, Josie, to answer your question or your statement earlier, notice if you look at what I've shared for stream, 51% of blacks have gotten at least one vaccine as of December 31st, 2021. That's coming out of KFF group. Okay, so somebody's just tracking
Where'd
US.
you put that?
It's actually, I'm sharing it on stream, but I'll put it in chat for people to look at. And then secondarily, I don't want to get into conversations about what is race or what is racism. This, that, it's people saying things is kind of pissed off. But I think there's an important distinction between what people say that may be bigoted versus what people put into action, which causes harm to somebody who, you say something about a person's race or their gender or whatever. You can, I don't want to say you can hold those beliefs because I think they're cringe. I don't hold those beliefs. But if somebody says it or feels it or thinks it in the confines of their own skull or in their own home, and they never act on it in public, they don't cause anybody any harm out in public, you just got to accept that people can think what the fuck they want to think. But to your point, Dylan, right? Hitler comes up and he says a bunch of things about the Jews, right? He couldn't do shit to the Jews until he took power. And as when he had power and he then put that shit into play, that's when it became a problem.
But was he an anti-Semite in 1922 though?
Being an anti-Semite is just an example of being an anti-Semite is just an example
Can you ask the question?
Being an anti-Semite is just an example of people. What are you gonna let me say it, or you just
Be respectful, Dylan. God dang, man, come on. Oh, I said dang. I said dang.
Wait, you're asking me to be respectful. You called me like a racist 10 times today. Are you kidding me?
There's a difference. Look, there's a difference between people holding cringe thoughts or beliefs and people acting on cringe thoughts or beliefs, right? It's the action that brings the power to it. It's the power of action that is causing people the harm, right? I grew up in this crazy fucking country when the phrase, when kids learn sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But today, words hurt more than guns and bullets, unless you're in the South Side.
Absolutely, they cause self-harm, right?
If
that's
I can just respond to this.
No.
I want to respond real quick.
I know
you know what? There's a lot of people that want to talk in the room, so this is executive decision. This is what I'm going to do. All right, Rope Man. I see you jumped in here. You've been quiet this whole time. Rope Man, marvel me, bro. What's up?
Okay, first of all, Dylan, I'm very upset that you stole my swag. I don't know why you're wearing a robe. What are you doing?
I've been wearing a robe longer than you've been on the platform.
Okay, first of all, I don't know what you're talking about. Your robe is garbage. It looks pretty much trash.
Does your one have your name on it? I don't know that. Oh, wait, it does. Oh, yeah.
Wow, dude, you went to the mall and got it threaded on there. Anyways, first of all, you guys are sitting here talking about the vaccine mandate. Always, every time I come on here, it's about the vaccine mandate. And Dylan, when are you just going to admit that you were wrong? Pretty much, the CDC director herself came out today saying, "Oh, we're going to release the data showing how many people actually died with COVID as opposed to from COVID." So you're going to see soon, they're going to backtrack. They're going to make it look like, "Oh, we don't know what we're talking about." Then everybody, the whole thing is the left wants to like save face, basically. I think this whole thing is the left trying to save face, make it look like, yeah, we were yelling at you guys for 2 years and we were looking like we were in charge and all this, but now you guys are looking like idiots and you want to backtrack it and not look so stupid. And your robe sucks.
I'm not buying that either, but Dylan was right when he said that if you say something really wrong, it can be very racist. It doesn't, or at least a racist comment, okay? But I'm trying to put this in a way that, okay, like what Redneck was doing isn't right, because it is racist to say, I don't like black people. It is a racist comment, okay? It just is, all right? But they do have a right to say it. And when you say, oh, sticks and stones don't break my bones unless you're in high school and you hit them in the face, okay? And that's what we did when somebody said that, okay? So, yeah. And it's true, right? So, if you didn't like something, you put them, you gave them a manly conversation, right? So, so everybody is right and they're wrong at the same time here on that issue, because I won't put up with somebody that uses the N-word. I'll let them know it real quick. Okay.
I have to agree.
But it doesn't mean I don't. But it doesn't mean once in a while I don't use a racist comment because I'm not thinking of it that way. Okay, I'm thinking what I'm saying in another way, and somebody takes it the other way.
I don't think anybody mentioned about what people think in their heads. Like, you can think all the racist thoughts you want. I'm not going to come and arrest you for them. If you say racist shit, I don't think you should be arrested, but you're going to face the social fallout that you're going to face. I think, yes, you definitely can say whatever racist topics, or not topics, racist statements you want to. But again, that doesn't mean that you're not, I don't know. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to defend your right to say those things, but it is racist. And it's just a lesser level of racism than getting beaten up for your race.
You both can answer this question.
Okay.
What does black mean? Define what black means to you. When you say you hate black people, what is it? What is black to you?
Okay. When I use the analogy, okay, black people.
Define black people.
People from the African continent, usually. Like,
well, I
would.
would.
Ancestors descend from.
I would say that it's based off of what
you can determine that by looking at them.
A lot of times, yes.
Well, okay. So what I would say is regardless of where they're from and where they can trace their lineage, black tends to mean people of a certain skin color, right? So if you say you hate black people, that means that you're hating somebody for something that they cannot change. And that's kind of shitty.
So that's
super
bias.
shitty.
That's a bias.
It's not a bias. That's racism. That's racism.
Prejudice. And
I hate bald people. I hate bald people. I hate bald people.
Bald people is not a race, though, but it is bigoted. Sure.
People in the race. Because guess what? There's fucking white people with blue eyes that are fucking black, you guys. Holy shit, the world's changing. Jesus, there's a shade color you got to walk around with? Oh my God,
and then it would
you're
be
black.
racist to be, it would be racist to say anything that is, that look, Okay, when somebody goes up and says I hate black people, what they are saying is that they hate people of a certain skin color. You might say that there are some people who fit into that. Wait a minute, let me finish. That there may be some people who fit into a certain racial category who do not fit all the attributes of that racial category. But when somebody says something like that, they usually mean that they hate people of a certain skin color, which is something that people can't change.
Okay, listen, Stardust, again, I asked y'all for y'all's definition, and you immediately went to an attribute of a body of your body, an attribute,
Yes.
right? Some people have melanin, some people don't. I look at racism that y'all want to call it. I don't see race is. I have to play in that world though, because society has built these groups just like genders. Hence why we had this. I still have this problem in my head because I'm like, there are black people with blue eyes and fucking as white as me. And they are fucking black. They are black Americans that are just as white as me. We can't keep using the skin color analogy, and it's a cultural issue. We keep looking at skin color. It's more about class and culture. That's what truly is being defined here. You don't want to say it that way, though. Okay, if it's just black people, then is it the dark blacks you're talking about, or are we talking about light-skinned blacks? Because I actually have a preference.
It's academic.
There's no
of how the
okay,
world
if
is
there's
structured.
academic.
It's not
Joseph,
just Dylan, Stardust, and
Joseph,
Lucy's
you know what?
definition of
Yeah, if you
racism.
were-
I
hold on,
invented
hold on,
black
hold on,
people. That
hold
was
on,
me,
hold
actually.
Hold on.
I know.
All right, CTV is putting out the call, right, to any member of the black community, right, that wants to jump in here and be a part of the conversation, right? I feel like we need some representation.
I voted for Biden.
Let's make it brown people then.
Oh, okay.
You know, just,
we have to pick the skin color though, right? It's got to be the skin color because that's what the skin's about.
you know what? Let me put it this way. I'm looking for my brother bro wolves out there. All right. I'm looking for some of my brother bro wolves to jump in here. Let me know. Okay.
I have a question, really quick, just one question. Are you like a Marxist Leninist, redneck?
No.
Because, well, the reason why I'm asking is because I hear. Wait a minute. The reason why I'm asking is because I hear a lot of MLs say that same thing to me, like, "Oh, there's no such thing as racial struggles. It's all about class struggle."
Did you hear me say that?
Well, I don't know. You're
I understand.
saying that,
Look, I understand that there's
yeah.
people of one color that don't like a person of another color. I just don't believe that it's inherently one way. I believe that it exists in all colors. My problem is
I
that
agree
our
with you.
society has mixed. I am from the first generation of true American mixing. Our generation produced the most out of all the years ever in America.
What the fuck
Look
are you
at the interracial birth and population has increased
The
dramatically with Gen
the
X.
Italians.
That's a no true Scotsman.
It's just like what?
Irish and Scotsmen are white by every
Sparky
deal that you would claim.
Sparky,
So.
the idea that, no. Okay,
It's a debate bro term.
Jesus fucking. Okay, never mind. You beat me down. You censored me. Congratulations. Continue.
I'm sorry, Dylan. Is your contention that Scottish people and Irish people aren't white?
No, my contention is the idea that he's part of the first generation of true mixing. It's such a fucking weird statement.
I said the most mixing. I said the most. We created the most.
You said
I did say our generation was the one that created the most mixing out of all the generations previous.
There's been
Jesus Christ, Dylan, go
that's
fucking
completely wrong.
semantics sake.
No, that's not true. Fuck. Okay,
Give me the
if you guys
stats.
want to be
Give me the
ahistorical,
stats.
that's fine.
Give me the stats all the way back.
You want me to give you the stats of like Now, by the way, let's be clear. The idea that the Italians are just considered white, like that is not historical fact. Okay, people would definitely consider the Italians not to be white in many cases. You look at a Sicilian, and they said that is not a white person. 100%. That happened all the time. And there was Sicilian immigration to this country, and they were not considered white.
Okay, pink people.